Good morning, children. We have started with the fourth chapter, that is reproductive health. Today also we'll continue with the same chapter, and the topic which we are going to start today is the medical termination of pregnancy, that is MTP. The intentional or voluntary termination, which is also called abortion of pregnancy before the full term or before the fetus becomes viable, is called medical termination of pregnancy. Nearly 45 to 50 million MTPs are performed in a year all over the world, which accounts to 1/5 of the total number of conceived pregnancies in a year. MTP helps to decrease the population. Many countries have legalized MTP due to emotional, ethical, religious and social issues. And Government of India legalized MTP in 1971 with some strict conditions to avoid its misuse, especially to check the indiscriminate and illegal female feticides, which are reported to be very high in India. Medical termination of pregnancy have its own importance, like to avoid unwanted pregnancies due to casual unprotected intercourse or failure of the contraceptive used during coitus or the rapes. It is essential in cases where continuation of pregnancy is harmful to either fetus, mother, or even to both. MTPs are safe during the first trimester, that is up to 12 weeks of pregnancy. It becomes more risky after the first trimester, as the fetus becomes very closely associated with the maternal tissues. There are certain problems related to medical termination of pregnancies. The first problem is majority of the MTPs are performed illegally by unqualified quacks, which may be fatal. Misuse of amniocentesis test. It is being misused as amniocentesis to abort even the normal female feticide. Okay, amniocentesis test is done for sex determination. If the fetus is female, then it is followed by MTP, and such practices are very dangerous for the young mother and fetus. Now, amniocentesis is what is done in amniocentesis test is the amniotic fluid, the fluid surrounding to the fetus, is taken to analyze the fetal cells and dissolved substances, and it is used to test the presence of genetic disorders, survivability of the fetus, etc. But it is being misused for sex determination nowadays. Government of India enacted the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act in 2017 to reduce the illegal abortion and consequent maternal mortality, that is death of mothers, and maternal morbidity, means the condition in which the mother is being diseased. Morbidity is the condition of being diseased. Okay. According to this act, pregnancy may be terminated within the first 12 weeks, as I told you earlier, on the opinion of a registered medical practitioner. Okay, and if the pregnancy is between 12 to 24 weeks, 2 registered medical practitioners must be of the opinion. Then only the termination of pregnancy can be done. Moving to the new topic, that is sexually transmitted diseases, STDs. Okay. These are the diseases that are mainly passed from one person to another during sexual intercourse. They are known as venereal disease, VD, okay, or reproductive tract infection, RTIs. It can be prevented by avoiding unprotected sexual intercourse or mating. Various examples of sexually transmitted diseases are gonorrhea, syphilis, genital herpes, then chlamydiasis, genital warts, trichomoniasis, hepatitis B, and HIV that leads to AIDS. These are the pictures of different diseases, sexually transmitted diseases. STDs like hepatitis B, HIV can also be transmitted by sharing of injection, needles, surgical instruments, etc., which are contaminated, then by transfusion of blood from infected mother to the fetus because of unprotected sex with an infected partner. Then except hepatitis B, genital herpes and HIV, other diseases are completely curable if detected early and treated properly. The early symptoms of STDs are minor and include itching, fluid discharge, slight pain, swellings, etc. in the genital regions. Infected females may often be asymptomatic and hence may remain undetected for a long period of time. This leads to complications such as pelvic inflammatory diseases. It is an infection of the female reproductive organs. It usually occurs when sexually transmitted bacteria spread from the vagina to the womb or to the fallopian tube or ovaries. Then abortions, that is deliberate termination of pregnancy, stillbirths, means death or loss of a baby before or during the delivery, ectopic pregnancies. These are the pregnancies in which the fetus develop outside the uterus, typically in the fallopian tube. Infertility means inability of a person to conceive, which we will be learning after some time. Cancer of the reproductive tract is also observed. Now, one shouldn't get panic before, because prevention from STDs is possible and one could be free of these infections by following simple principles like number 1 is avoid sex with unknown or multiple partners. Always use condom during the coitus. Use sterilized needles and syringes. Awareness about STDs. In case of doubt, consult a doctor as early as possible for early detection and get completely treated if diagnosed with the disease. All persons are vulnerable to STDs. Vulnerable means possibility of being attacked by sexually transmitted diseases. The people or individuals belonging to age group of 15 to 24 years are at a very high risk to get infected by the sexually transmitted diseases. Now we will start with the new topic, that is infertility. It is also one of the major aspects of reproductive health. A large number of couples all over the world are infertile. Infertility primarily refers to the biological inability of a person to conceive in spite of regular unprotected sexual cohabitation or unprotected coitus. Infertility is mainly of two types. Number one is the primary infertility. Primary infertility refers to those patients who never had children. And the second one is the secondary infertility, which refers to a situation when a couple had children or achieved pregnancy previously but are unable to conceive the next time. It occurs more commonly than the primary infertility. The reasons for infertility could be related to many individual aspects such as physical, congenital. Congenital means the disease present from the birth, diseases, then drugs, immunological. It is related to immune system or immunity from the diseases, or even psychological. Psychological is related to mental cause. Okay. These disorders can be treated in infertility clinics using assisted reproductive technologies, that is ARTs. Okay. So moving to the new topic, that is assisted reproductive technologies, ARTs. When corrective treatments are not possible in certain cases, special techniques called assisted reproductive technologies are used to help couples in having children. Assisted reproductive technologies include IVF, that is in vitro fertilization, then GIFT, that is gamete intrafallopian transfer, there is ZIFT also, ZIFT, which means zygote intrafallopian transfer, then ICSI, intracytoplasmic sperm injection, artificial insemination, that is AI, surrogacy, okay, IVF. Let us discuss these methods one by one. The first method is in vitro fertilization, IVF. Okay, it is a technique of initiating the fertilization process outside the female body, followed by the embryo transfer, in which the embryo is placed inside the uterus with the intention to establish the pregnancy. In IVF method, ova from the wife or a female donor and the sperms from the husband or the male donor are collected and are induced to form a zygote under simulated conditions, means similar, imitating conditions, in vitro. In vitro means in laboratory. Okay, in laboratory it is being done. It is also termed as test tube baby program, as the initial process is carried out in the laboratory. Okay. Now, zygote or early embryo with up to 8 blastomere is then transferred in the body of the female for further development, and this is called embryo transfer. There are two types of embryo transfer. Number one is ZIFT, zygote intrafallopian tube, and the second one is intrauterine transfer. When the 8-cell blastomere stage embryo obtained by in vitro fertilization is transferred into the fallopian tube, the process is called ZIFT. It is called ZIFT. Okay, what is done in zygote intrafallopian transfer? The 8-cell blastomere cell stage embryo which is obtained in the laboratory after fertilization in the laboratory, it is transferred in the fallopian tube. That is called zygote intrafallopian transfer. And when the zygote with more than 8-cell blastomere stage is placed directly into the lining of the uterus to complete its further development, it is termed as intrauterine transfer, IUT. Okay. So that was in vitro fertilization. In laboratory, the fusion of male and female gamete takes place. Now, in vivo fertilization is also being done. In this, embryos are formed when the fusion of the gametes takes place within the female body. This could be used for such transfer to assist those females who cannot conceive. A developing embryo is implanted in the uterus of another female, a woman who substitutes or take the place of the real mother to nurse the embryo, and such woman is called surrogate mother. The second method is the gamete intrafallopian transfer, that is GIFT. The ovum collected from the donor is transferred to the fallopian tube of another female who cannot produce ova but can provide a suitable environment for fertilization and further development. This is termed as gamete intrafallopian tube. Third one is intracytoplasmic sperm injection, ICSI. It is a laboratory procedure in which a single sperm from male partner is injected directly into an egg from the female partner. After fertilization, the embryo is implanted into the woman's uterus. It is beneficial in case of male infertility when the sperm count is low. The fourth one is the artificial insemination technique, AI. In AI, the semen is collected either from the husband or a healthy donor and then artificially introduced into the vagina or into the uterus. If artificial insemination is done into the uterus, it is called intrauterine insemination. It is commonly used in cases where male partners are unable to inseminate the female due to very low sperm counts in the ejaculate. Another method is surrogacy. Here, a woman called surrogate mother bears a child for a couple who are unable to produce children because the wife is infertile or unable to carry, unable to conceive. The surrogate is impregnated, means making a female pregnant through artificial insemination, means the semen of the father is directly released in the vagina or it is introduced into the uterus, or implantation of the embryo is being done, which is being produced by IVF. Now there are certain problems of ART. That is, all these techniques requires extremely high precision, specialized persons and expensive instruments. Precision, specialized persons means those who have that quality. Okay, therefore these facilities are available only these facilities are available only in few centers. Okay, and hence their benefits are not only they are only limited to specific person. Okay, it is not being the benefits are not being taken by all the persons. Those who have money, those who are wealthy can only take the benefit of these techniques as they are very expensive. Okay, then moreover, emotional, social and religious factors may also interfere in the adoption of these methods. In India, there are so many orphaned and destitute children. Orphaned means those children who are kept in the orphanages, and destitute का मतलब जिनका कोई नहीं होता, बेसहारा. Right, so in India there are many orphan and destitute children. Legal adoption is one of the best methods for couples looking for parenthood. So children, that is all for today. We have completed the chapter. In our next video, we will be starting with the new chapter. I hope this chapter is clear to everyone. Thank you.